Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's On the Fly. I'm your host, Gene DeFilippo, and my guest this week is the very successful Director of Athletics at Denver University, Josh Berlo. Welcome to On the Fly podcast.
Well, great to see you, Gene. Thank you for having me, and look forward to our conversation today.
Josh, you have worked your way up and nobody handed you anything. Tell some of our listeners out there about your career, starting from graduating from the University of Massachusetts.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple, Gene. I had some great mentors and got some great advice, and things like focus on the job you have today, be the best at what you can do. This is certainly an enterprise where hard work pays off, and surround yourself with the best people that you can. And I had an exceptional experience as an undergraduate at the University of Massachusetts, and so proud to have been through their well-respected sports management program, and the athletic department there was wonderful about getting students involved in something I've always tried to do where I've been to get undergraduate and graduate students involved. And I was fortunate enough to have a couple of connections to the University of Notre Dame, and I put in an application of their MBA program. And I don't know that they would accept me today, but back then I convinced them that they should take a chance on me, and convinced them to hire me as well, and just had an incredible run there. 13 years, starting out really as just an hourly employee, and working up to a member of their senior staff, and surrounded by Gene, just exceptional mentors there. Kevin White and Jack Swarbrick, Missy Convoy, Bill Scholl, Boo Corrigan, Bernard Muir, Sandy Barber, Jim Phillips. I mean, just a great group. And
Yes,
I was
Bubba
kind of the kid in the
Cunningham.
room.
I have to get my
Bubba
friend
Cunningham,
Bubba in there. Yes.
probably one of the folks I'm closest to. Of course, I forget Bubba. His son Matthew worked for me. So yeah, it just soaked it all in as a young administrator there, and proud to have those friends in my corner, and loved my time there. And then one day I got a call from a group that was looking for an AD up in northern Minnesota, and my wife had been through some health issues, and I never really thought that, I wasn't fixated on becoming an athletic director, but I always enjoyed working with hockey programs, and Duluth had two great hockey programs, and I thought, you know what, I'm in my early 30s. Let's give this a shot. And we went up to northern Minnesota and had a great 8+ year run there, and even cost Notre Dame a natty. And we had a lot of fun up there. And it was just such a great chance to learn and grow, and be surrounded by a couple of elite Division I programs that I got to support and partner with, but also great Division II programs, and see athletics through another lens, and really reinforce it's all about the student athletes and empowering their success. And as we were grinding away there, Denver decided they wanted to talk to me, and excited to be here now, and continue to support student athletes as they achieve athletically and academically and socially. And it's been a fun ride, Gene. It's been a really fun ride.
Let's talk about Division II, Minnesota Duluth. Now, when you were there, you won 2 national championships. How hard is it for a Division II program to be that good in Division I hockey, and not just alone get in the Frozen Four, but to win 2 national championships?
Yeah, it's you got to be scrappy, you got to be entrepreneurial. But they've got a great community that supports all their programs, and their hockey programs. And I think when it was all said and done, my time there, we had 6 Frozen Fours, 4 men's, 2 women's, and my last women's game with them was a national title game lost to Ohio State. And then I ironically flew right to Colorado because the NCAA regionals were here. And my last game with the men's team was a regional final loss to the University of Denver. So it's funny how those worlds come together. I think a lot of success comes down to people and culture, and it's the right coaches and the right administrators and the right student athletes partnering with each other. And when that chemistry and that talent and that drive and that passion aligns, you can do some special things. So there were a lot of, what I would say bigger and maybe better funded, but not better programs that Duluth had to succeed against to have those two back-to-back championships and come quite close a few other times in both hockey programs. So it's a harder path, but I think you embrace that. You may not have some of the inherent advantages that say a Power Four institution that's involved in hockey does, but when you've got a really solid community that supports you, you've got a lot of hockey talent in your backyard, and you can properly leverage those advantages, it certainly can be done. And we continue to see that, particularly in the sport of hockey.
I've always said the better players don't always win. The better team most of the time wins. And you can have a better team at a place like Minnesota Duluth because of culture, because of coaching, because of grit, and beat teams that are better than you. That was great. Now, you go on to Denver, and now not just hockey, but women's soccer, men's soccer, lacrosse, hockey. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, we've had a really special run these last couple of years. Women's lacrosse got to their first ever Final Four, and then we went through a coaching retirement. Men's lacrosse, Bill Tierney, who's considered in so many ways the GOAT of coaching in men's lacrosse. I was so fortunate to have a year with him, and we hired Matt Brown, his longtime protege, who played here, and in Matt's first year, right to the Final Four and get to championship weekend. Beat Syracuse in the quarterfinal, and our men's soccer team made it to their second College Cup and lost to eventual national champion Vermont, and of course a men's hockey title in the midst of that. So we've, I think, had three number one ranked teams in the last calendar year. We're one of seven institutions that has had three teams advance to their respective Final Fours. We are the only non-Power Four institution to do that. And it gets back to an earlier comment, people and culture. This is a great place that believes in the pursuit of Division I athletics. And our previous chancellor, Mr. Ritchie, who's 93, I saw him last night in the late 90s. He elevated all the programs to Division I. And Peg Bradley Doppus, who's the longtime athletic director here, who I'm honored to build on her legacy. A lot of people worked really hard to build this. We're a young Division I athletic department, despite a lot of hockey and skiing Division I championships. And we just keep grinding away and leverage our advantages and our incredible institution and campus and geographic location in the shadow of the Rockies. And some really amazing and special coaches. I think our gymnastics team this year has beaten Georgia, Missouri, and another SEC school. I mean, just Michigan, excuse me, at Big Ten. So, it's been a fun ride. We do it a little differently, but we're very proud of it. But it all goes back to people and culture.
Let's talk a little bit about the academic emphasis at Denver. I believe, and I'm not sure of this, but you had somewhere the overall about a 3.5. Was that right?
Yeah, typically it's in the high 3.5s, and it's for 380 student athletes.
That is absolutely incredible. Do you have a real good academic support program?
We do. We've got a small and mighty team under the provost's office, and those three folks do an exceptional job of supporting our student athletes. And the faculty, the academic leadership, our chancellor, they really believe in the value of that concurrent excellence and the role of sports in personal development. And our men's soccer team in particular, they have a top 3 GPA in their sport annually, and to be able to do that at the same time that you're a player two away from winning a national championship is a pretty special thing. So something we're really proud of here. And there's a lot of places that do both, and it's harder, and it requires a commitment from the coaches and the athletes. to succeed in all disciplines, and we're immensely proud of it.
You should be. Talk a little bit about what it's like to be a one AAA and dealing with the House settlement,
Sure,
and how you and the one AAAs are going to. Well, and you can't speak for other schools, but
sure.
how are you going to handle it?
Yeah, it's a little bit different for everybody. We're looking at it as another challenge to continue to support our elite level programs that do so well competing nationally, and it's akin to some of the really strong positives that have come out of this evolutionary period of college athletics. We're able to do things for our student athletes that just a few years ago weren't permissible, and whether that's food and nutrition, additional coaches, additional sports medicine staff, and support. So those things are we're trying to seize those opportunities. Of course, it presents a financial challenge. And while we don't have football revenues, we also don't have football expenses. So our environment's a little bit more predictable and a little bit more controlled, but at the same time, the challenges are present. And we've been able to grow our revenues and elevate our philanthropy, and those are how we're taking these challenges. You can't eat the elephant in one day, so we're taking it bite by bite. But
That's right.
we've
One
been,
bite at a time, right?
exactly. And again, people in culture, we were able to recruit a new lead development person for Denver Athletics, who was a former volleyball player here, and was the number two fundraiser at Northwestern. And she was a great fit for us. And she's come in and she's really helped us up our game and take seizing all of those opportunities. So it's embracing the challenges. It's recognizing that it's not going to be easy. And Denver is a place where we've always done it a little bit differently. And we have a new assistant coach in one of our sports who came from the Power Four world, and told us that one of the best things about being at Denver is not having to explain why they lost to Denver from a Power Four institution. So, I think it's part of our identity, and you're going to have to be scrappy and entrepreneurial, and we're exceptionally proud of it. Our student athletes have an amazing experience, and we're going to continue to take it day by day. You've got to be really, really strategic in what you do. And we've got a great group of coaches and staff on our strategic planning group, and making sure that we're investing in the areas that have the greatest impact for our student athletes. And we're, as much as the future is has some uncertainty to it and some challenges, we're really excited about it because we go into this evolutionary period from a position of strength. We're having a lot of success, and our goal is to maintain and further that success. This is a pretty tough time to build success. And that's really the vision that we take on this uncertainty. I think we're going to reach some equilibriums pretty soon, as the world settles down a bit. And I'm excited about our future, and I'm excited about the things we can do for our athletes today.
We haven't talked about skiing yet. Uh, Tell us about your ski team.
Yeah, our Alpine and Nordic ski teams are incredible. They have 21 or 24, excuse me, national championships. They're in the top three year in, year out, and it's generally coming down to tenths of seconds who's going to win that. And I grew up doing some Alpine racing in the Northeast. Nothing like these kids, please. But I enjoy getting out there with them once in a while. It's fun to ride the lift and do a couple of training runs with them. They are some of the most impressive athletes that I've ever been around. And they, we have a strong U.S. presence. We have some great international kids that are on their respective national teams. And they get after it. They get up early in the Alpine team early in the morning. They jump in a couple of sprinter vans. They're up in the mountains. They're on the lifts by 7:30. They're in class by 1. And they travel a lot. Our Nordic kids will do long training trips, and they're an awesome group, and they're a blast to be around. I was with them in Lake Placid 2 years ago for the championships, and had dinner at the house that we rented, and they're a fun group. They spend a lot of time on the road together, and they have really high expectations, but they also have a good time. And I think it's a good reminder for all of us in life, work hard, but enjoy the journey.
Well, Josh, one last question.
Yeah.
How many national championships does Denver have? It's got to be, I can't even guess.
It's 35 national championships, 24 in skiing, 10 in hockey, which is the most of any Division I hockey program. Broke the tie with Michigan last year, and won in men's lacrosse. And the exciting part is men's soccer was close last year. Women's lacrosse was close 2 years ago. Skiing's there just about every year. Gymnastics is finished in the top 4. So it's a fun culture to see whose turn is it this year, who's going to make the run, and then to see a little bit of competition amongst the coaches, right? Like they want it to be their year. So it's a fun thing to see the elite level expectations, the great academic integrity that they have this success with, and then the competition for who's going to get number 36.
That's
That's a fun
unbelievable.
thing to be a part of, and in, day out.
Wow. Great job, Josh. Great job to you and your staff and all the coaches and the athletes at Denver. Congrats. Well, we're out of time with this week's On the Fly. I'm your host, Gene DeFilippo, and I want to thank our guest, Josh Berlo, the Director of Athletics at the University of Denver. Wow, the job that you and your staff have done, congratulations. Well, thanks for being with us this time, everybody. We'll be here to see you next time.